So one of the biggest questions you hear in DeFi is, where does the yield actually come from, right? Is it real, or is it just some kind of inflation in disguise? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the PLAZM protocol. We're going to trace the money, step by step, to see exactly how external trading fees get turned into a perpetual defense mechanism for the whole ecosystem.
But first, you know the drill, the important stuff. This is all purely for educational purposes, and it is definitely not financial advice. Always do your own research. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with what real yield even means and why it's such a game changer. Then we'll follow the money through the perpetual yield engine, break down the 2 fuels and 4 pools that power everything, and see why this model is built to last. We'll wrap things up by looking at the engine's power right now and its future potential, which all leads to the big idea, the perpetual defense thesis. Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the real yield difference. This really gets to the heart of a huge problem in DeFi. How do you give people rewards without completely tanking the value of the very token you're giving them?
So you've basically got 2 different ways this can go. On one side, you've got the model we see everywhere, inflationary yield. Protocols just fire up the money printer, minting new tokens to offer those crazy APYs. But here's the catch. Every single reward they pay out dilutes the value for everyone holding the token. It's a constant downward pressure. But on the other side, you have real yield. This is a totally different animal. Here, the protocol earns actual revenue from outside activity, like trading fees happening across DeFi. It uses that income to fund the rewards. No printing, no dilution, just sustainable value.
And this isn't just some theory. Right now, PLAZM's mechanism is generating around $330 in real, external revenue every single day. Now, the most important part of this is that this income is completely separate from PLAZM's own token price. It doesn't matter if the PLAZM token is up or down. As long as people are trading out there in the DeFi world, this engine is working and earning.
And that right there is the whole point. The difference is sustainability. One model is built on dilution, which can only last so long. The other is built on real revenue, which is designed to go on forever. Okay, let's move on to Section 2 and see how this all connects to the core of the protocol, the perpetual yield engine. We're going to follow the exact path the money takes, from the moment ETH comes in all the way to the defense pools.
It all happens in 4 pretty simple steps. First, ETH comes into the protocol from user fees. Second, and this is so important, that ETH is used to buy these things called DexFi bonds. You can just think of them as tiny shares of trading pools all across DeFi. Third, those bonds just sit there and automatically earn trading fees from all that general crypto trading activity. And finally, those fees, which are paid out in the stablecoin USDC, get sent directly to defense pools.
Now, I really want to pause on this because it's one of the most critical things to understand. 100% all of the incoming ETH fees go straight into this yield engine. It's not split with the treasury, it's not siphoned off anywhere else. Every single dollar of those fees goes to work buying more revenue-generating assets, which means the engine is constantly compounding its own power.
Okay, so we know where the USDC comes from. But if you've looked closely at the defense mechanism, you've probably noticed there are 4 pools, not just one. That brings us to Section 3, where we're going to unpack these pools and their 2 very different funding sources. This table breaks it all down perfectly. You can see the 4 pools are really split into 2 types. The top 2, the buy and burn USDC and buy and build USDC pools, well, they're funded by those external trading fees we just talked about. This is pure real yield, which is why their sustainability is listed as perpetual. Then you have the bottom 2. These are funded with eSHARE, which comes from new user entries into the protocol. You should think of this as awesome bonus ammunition, but it does depend on protocol activity to get refilled.
Here's a great way to think about it. The USDC pools are the sustainable core of the defense. They're the engine that runs day in and day out, fueled by real external revenue. The eSHARE pools are the bonus supply. They provide extra firepower that's fueled by what's happening inside the protocol. And critically, that eSHARE is used as is. It's not sold or converted. It goes straight into those defense pools.
So, why does this all matter so much in the long run? Section 4 is going to put it all into perspective with a little story. A tale of 2 protocols. On the left is a story we've seen 100 times in DeFi. A protocol prints tokens to get users, which dilutes the supply. This attracts mercenary farmers who are only there to farm and dump the rewards, which creates a death spiral for the token price. It's basically designed to be unsustainable. Now on the right, you have the PLAZM model. It earns real external fees. Then it uses its defense mechanisms to actively burn its own supply, making it more rare. This combination creates something called anti-fragility, a system that actually gets stronger under pressure. And here's the proof right in the numbers. To date, the protocol has permanently burned over 314,000 PLAZM tokens. That's 7% of the total supply, just gone, forever. So while these inflationary protocols are constantly adding to their supply, PLAZM is actively reducing its own, all while generating external revenue. It's the complete opposite of the usual playbook.
This leads us right into Section 5, the engine, today and tomorrow. We've seen how it works in theory, now let's look at how it's actually performing in the real world and how it's built to grow.
Let's just pull up the status report from day 91. The numbers are pretty compelling. The protocol now owns over 6,300 bonds, which means it controls over a quarter of all the DexFi bonds in existence. That whole portfolio of assets is valued at over $400,000, has already generated over 55 grand in pure profit, and is bringing in that consistent $330 in daily yield. The engine isn't just a theory, it's running and it's working.
And what's more, it's not standing still, it's growing. In just the last week, bond ownership has gone up by 6.6%. This shows the engine is always in acquisition mode, always working to grow its share of trading fees and scale up its revenue generation.
This chart shows exactly how that growth starts to compound. The relationship here is really simple and direct. At our current level of about 6,400 bonds, the engine is making around $330 a day. As it keeps buying more and hits 8,000 bonds, the projected daily yield climbs to over $400. At 10,000 bonds, we'd be looking at over $520 a day. It's a clear path. More bonds equals a bigger piece of the DeFi trading fee pie, which means a stronger and beefier defense mechanism.
So let's bring this all home in our final section, the perpetual defense thesis. This is the core logic for why, in this kind of model, the music is never supposed to stop. This is that anti-fragility loop in action. It's a flywheel that literally powers itself. It starts with global DeFi trading, which generates fees. PLAZM's bond portfolio captures its slice of those fees as USDC revenue. That real revenue funds the defense mechanism, and that defense mechanism, by burning supply and supporting the price, strengthens the entire protocol, making it a more attractive place to be, which, you guessed it, feeds right back into the loop.
And it all comes down to this one single powerful idea: real yield. Not printed tokens. Trading fees from DeFi activity funding perpetual defense. As long as decentralized exchanges process trades, the yield engine has fuel. That's not optimism, that's mechanism design.
And as we close this out, just one final and important reminder. This has all been for educational purposes, not financial advice. Digital assets are an incredibly exciting space, but they are also highly volatile and risky. So please, never invest more than you're truly prepared to lose, and always do your own thorough research. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.